What's happening, people? Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Messages in the Madness with yours truly, mm, Longhorn the Comedian. 8 o'clock Sunday. I'm right here, baby. I think I'm 15 seconds late, but charge it to my head, not to my heart. It's one of those things. I was sitting right here at my desk. Don't know why I'm late, but I'm late. How you gonna be late for your own thing? Just how you gonna do that? I guess it happens though. So I'm here. You're here. Appreciate you being here. Hope you had a glorious and fabulous and wonderful week because I did. Yeah, I did. I have to admit, I did. I have no complaints. But then again, even if I did have some complaints, I probably wouldn't tell y'all because, well, the people say there's no point in complaining. Yeah, it is. Get it off you and put it on somebody else. That's what I say. Um, and then it gives people something to laugh and talk about later on. But nah, don't complain. There's no point in complaining. Don't go through life complaining. Go through life figuring out ways to fix whatever it is that's causing you some issues. How about that? So, like I said, it's been a great week, wonderful week, man. I appreciate just everybody who I interacted with this week. Everybody's been wonderful. I traveled a little bit. I got to stay local, St. Louis area. That was pretty cool. So I had a good and prosperous week, man. Gotta let me get to my notes here. Big events for the week. Shout out to my son and my granddaughter. Today is their birthday. Yes, Vernon Davis III is 32, and granddaughter Izzy, August, Hurricane Izzy. Y'all have seen pictures of her. She's the big four. Yeah, we went to Chuck E. Cheese today. Chuck E. Cheese is the devil. I don't care what nobody say. Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese is the key to casino. That's what that is. Yeah. And when they graduate from Chuck E. Cheese, they go to Dave and Buster's. Same things. I mean, it's crazy. But we had fun. Wore Paw Paw. I mean, yeah, they wore Paw Paw out. They did. I'm not gonna even go front. They wore me out today. Um, Chuck E. Cheese is nowhere for grandparents to be without the adult children, without the adult parents of the grandchildren. And I was watching other grandparents that was there. Yeah, the parents of the kids was doing all the other. The grandparents were sitting back chilling, eating that nasty ass pizza. Well, no, it's gotten better. I shouldn't say that. Chuck E. Cheese may be one of my sponsors one day, but the grandparents was just sitting back chilling while the parents were chasing the kids around. So that's how that went. The security guard looked like she was wearing her husband's uniform and gun. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, let's just say that security guard ain't ran or chased nobody in a long time. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all. I'm not bashing nobody. I'm just gonna say that I didn't feel safe. Yeah, she was gonna be like the security guard from Friday. She was gonna be with run. She's gonna be run with you security. Something break out, she was gonna run with you. That's all she was gonna do. So did a show in Bourbon, Missouri last night. Yeah, normally when I've seen Bourbon, Missouri a number of times, I've never stopped in this town. It's going down 50, down 44 towards Springfield. And usually coming or going, when I see that sign that says Bourbon, Missouri, population 1,256, I do one thing: speed up. Yeah, yeah, I get the hell out of there. But last night, man, the people were wonderful. It was a great show. You had Carolyn Agnew on the show and Christine Stedman. They both were in beast mode. They destroyed the place last night. I got a little taste of the pie last night. So the show was hosted by Bill and Tom of Missouri Possum Radio. Appreciate those guys. Show was sold out. Sold out. Met some great people. Had a few people ask for some TYPs. I gave those out. Not gave them out. I mailed them out because I didn't take any with me. I'm waiting on an order to come in now. And even sold a few books on Amazon. I thought that was pretty cool. I looked up and yeah, sold a few books on Amazon from last night. So like I said, it's been great. And for those of y'all that didn't know, we're still planning, working with Resurrecting Lives Foundation to plan that trip to Anchorage, Alaska. Going to go up there and try to bring some love and laughter and a little sunshine to our men and women who serve our country up there. So I thought that was awesome. So that is the news from Lake Wobegon. Yes, I used to listen to Prairie Home Companion on NPR. Yeah, I told y'all I am a nerd, and I ain't scared to admit to it. I am a nerd. I'm okay with that. I really am. So let's look into the magic mirror and see who I'm saying good evening to. I see James. I see Mr. Net. I see Miss Charlotte. Good to see you. Good to see you. Look over here because it's just for some odd reason everybody doesn't pop up over there. So I see Miss Candy. Thank y'all all for popping in, checking on me, hanging out with me for a minute. So let's get into the message for tonight. The message tonight is really simple. You got to forgive yourself. You are worthy. And I'm just going to say, I've been having some conversations with people this week. And one particular conversation, this stuck out to me. They felt like that they just could not forgive themselves for past transgressions, things that's happened to them in a prior life, things that's happened to them way down the road, and they blame themselves for it and the outcome of how things happened or the way they went, and they just don't feel like that they deserve forgiveness. They can't forgive themselves. So I asked them a question. I said, "Hey, when did you become bigger than God?" Oh, you gonna go there? Yeah, I went there. You got to be able to forgive yourself. You are worthy of forgiveness. I don't care who you are. You are. There are some things, true enough, in our eyes that are just unforgivable. There's been some things that have happened to me that I found it in me to forgive that person. I didn't forget what happened, but I forgave and moved on and moved away from. But I had to also point the finger back. When I'm pointing that finger, y'all know what I say. When you point that finger, there's three pointing back to you. And there were things that I have done in my life that I found it hard to forgive myself for. Yeah. And that is one of the toughest things to do. Now, I tried to boil forgiveness down to, try to boil it down to the basics. And I just said, you have to start with saying it, even if you don't believe it, saying the words out loud. I forgive me. And say it every day, at least once a day. I forgive me for whatever. Or if you just want to make a blanket statement, I forgive me for everything. And the more you tell yourself that, the more you hear your brain hears you saying that, the more it's going to begin to evolve to that. But you gotta let go. You gotta forgive yourself. You can't move forward if you don't. You can't have a healthy relationship with yourself if you don't forgive yourself first. You can't have a healthy relationship with another person if you don't forgive yourself. You can't have you can't move forward with another person if you're bringing the people from your past into the present because you have not forgave whatever that situation was. It just doesn't. So I know I tend to I try to simplify things, but I looked it up. I did a little reading and on how to forgive yourself. And you have to be there's these two things. It's called self-forgiveness and self-compassion. It's easy to it's easy to mistake self-forgiveness with self-compassion. Self-compassion is I'm sorry, I'm moving stuff around on my screen, is a different, it's different but similar to forgiveness, self-forgiveness. The three hallmarks are of self-compassion are kindness to yourself, shared humility, and clarity and mindfulness. That's simple. Clarity and mindfulness, having negative emotions can make people feel uncomfortable. Commonly, they will either exaggerate or downplay these emotions. Done it. Being able to clearly sit with these emotions and see them for what they are is a sign of self compassion. Being kind to yourself. People beat themselves up all the time. It's my fault. This happened. It's my fault that happened. I should have been better. I should have did this. I should have did that. When sometimes you really couldn't do anything. But kindness to yourself. Life is not perfect. So why do people think that they need to be perfect? When the going gets tough and things, do not go as planned, people who practice self-compassion remember this. The ones who don't remember because they don't know. They acknowledge the inevitability of imperfection and are caring and loving to themselves. You got to love you. Yeah. Yeah. So here's how we here's some things that we can do to start with the self-forgiveness. First thing you got to do is think back. Think back to the time in your life when you felt safe and cared about someone, cared about anybody. Remember who that is? Yeah. It could be a friend, relative, teacher, mentor, spiritual figure. It could be a dog. Visualize the feeling of being around them and being protected. Just let yourself feel safe. Then, with that protector, that person, that thing that made you feel safe in your brain, of course, list all the positive qualities. Remember the event. Next, acknowledge the facts surrounding what you need to forgive yourself for. You got to know what you need to forgive you for. Because see, this is important. Remember back to the specific event and how it made you feel. Notice what is, hard to face. And that's the thing. It's hard to face the things that happened that made us feel like we are unworthy of forgiveness. Make a list of what happened and sort it out into three categories: moral, faults, and unskillfulness, and everything else. Moral faults can moral faults call for guilt or remorse, and unskillfulness requires correction, like committing to never doing a certain act again. You know, don't avoid guilt. And we are all, I won't say we all, a lot of us are guilty of this, of avoiding the guilt. Not feeling great about doing something bad is healthy and it is natural. That means you're human. That means you care. That means you have a soul. That means you have a moral compass. So it's normal and it's healthy for you to feel bad about doing something. If you walked up and punched the old guy in the face and knocked him out of his wheelchair and then went and had a beer, there's something seriously wrong with you. But if you had uh, a moral compass, you wouldn't do that in the first place. If we wipe away the bad feelings of doing bad, what are we left with? However, there is a difference between shame and guilt. Shame comes with defensive feelings like denial, avoidance, and violence. What I just talked about. It's not helpful to tell yourself that you are a bad person at your core and feel guilty. By doing so, you may think that that you can change, but hey, feeling guilt over your actions is not healthy. It can help you not repeat them, but it's not healthy. Take responsibility. You guys always hear me say, own it, own it, own it, own your stuff, own your shit. You did it, own it. You said it, own it. Well, I had to dig back and own a lot of things. I had to take responsibility for them. But once I took responsibility for them and I owned them, life changed a lot. I felt better about me. I felt better about being a human being. I just felt better about everything. But that was just half the battle. Repairing the damage is the other part. Sometimes you can't repair the damage. You could try to repair the damage. It may be hard for you to truly forgive yourself if you feel you haven't done what you need to do to make amends. Perhaps this means offering financial aid, repairing the property, or simply saying, I'm sorry to someone. I remember I'm not a thief, but in my life, I have lied, cheated, stole. I've done that. Yes, I have. I'm not going to lie to you. There is no halo over my head. But one time I was coming through St. Louis and I didn't have any money. And I stopped at this gas station and my car was spewing oil and I was trying to get back to Kansas because I had did something I shouldn't have did and I went somewhere I shouldn't have never been. And I needed to get back to where I came from. I stopped at this gas station. I got $10 worth of gas and 2 quarts of oil. Well, the guy didn't charge me for the $10 worth of gas. I took off. That bothered me so for years. And finally, about 5 years later, I moved to the St. Louis. Not 5 years later, but 2 years later, I moved to the St. Louis area. And I went to that gas station. It had changed well, not it was a little longer than that, but anyway, the gas station had changed hands the whole nine. And I would ride past that gas station. And one day I said, I just stopped and I went to the gas station and I pulled out a $20 bill and I handed it to the clerk and I said, I know you don't know what this is for, but this is for something I did probably some years ago, and I'm sorry. And I put the money on the counter and I walked out the door. And I felt better about myself because I knew I had stole something. And I had to and that was the only way I could forgive myself for that. Yeah. I was trying to repair the damage, but nobody even knew that damage was there. They didn't know, but I knew because I was carrying it. Yeah. Have empathy for more than yourself. It has been found that people having trouble with self-forgiveness when they also have empathy with the other party involved. It's normal for people to struggle with this tension. However, without having empathy for both yourself and the other person, this self-forgiveness can be empty and not mean much. But that's how we start moving towards self-forgiveness. And you got to, because honestly, there's nothing that you have done that you cannot forgive yourself for. You are worthy. You are enough. And you do deserve forgiveness. So do what I did. Start that first step by saying, I forgive me. And if you want to put on there whatever it is that you did that you feel like you need to be forgave for, then say that. Or just say, I forgive me for everything. But you got to forgive yourself before you can move on or be uh, a part of somebody else's life. So that's the message. Let's look over here in the comments and see what we got. Hey Charlotte, hey James, hey Miss Nanette. Mr. James said me and her both named August. Hey Tina, good to see you. Um, James says, forgive to move forward. Yeah, you can't move forward without it. You really can't. Buzz said, let it go. Easier said than done, but you just got to. And that is the hardest part. I have family members now that have been carrying axes for each other, just carrying the axe, waiting to bust somebody in the head with it. They've been carrying them axes for years. Let it go. I had to reach deep into my heart to forgive some of my own family members for things that happened to me. And I found no point in carrying it, so I just had to let it go. Because all it was doing was weighing me down. Um, Buzz also said you should, you should get an Oscar for that smile you wear in the face of ignorance. Always amazed by your discipline. Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate that. James says, my veteran brothers. Yeah. Buzz says, Buzz and James are dominating the conversation tonight. But it says, how's that saying going? You can lie to everyone but yourself. Owning your actions and acknowledging them to yourself is step one. Boom. Truth. It doesn't get any bigger than that. You can lie to everybody else, but you are who you lay down with at night and get to deal with that. No true words have been spoken. You got to deal with that. You got to live with that. You got to take that with you. That's yours. So that's the message for tonight, y'all. I appreciate y'all stopping in. I know I didn't put up a promo today or anything. We've been busy. Had grandbaby here last night, and then we did the Chuck E. Cheese thing. Went out, did some shopping. It's been a busy day. When I get through talking to y'all, I'm taking off these boots, get me a shower. I'm going to bed. But in the interim, hope y'all enjoyed the message. I did buy. I'm going to buy a new camera, trying to make this look a little bit more professional. Trying to take it to another level. So hang in there with me. Um, that is a lot to think about. Yeah. Um, I'm out. So God loves you. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Respect yourselves. Love on them kids. Respect our vets. I'm Longhorn the Comedian. God bless y'all. $2.